live, I think there's a little red button in the top corner. Do I start every show like this? I think I do actually. Excuse me. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is December the something. I think it might be December the 7th, and I think it's also a huge day for many, many people because I think this is the, Chris just informed me, this is the anniversary of Pearl Harbor, however many years ago that was. And so there are lots of, do we celebrate? Do we commiserate? What do we do? I like to celebrate all of those men and women who were heroes, who, despite the traumas and the tragedies of life, stand up and we live to fight another day. The same way that when I think about England and I think about the bombings that we put up with for years in England, the Germans bombing us and so on, and look what happened. We survived. We stood up. We began again. We built again. And and I think that we have to celebrate the heroes of the day. So for all of you out there who are celebrating or remembering or whatever it is you're doing today with Pearl Harbor, please know my thoughts are with you. I know that everyone's thoughts are with you, and I feel so, so proud of all of those people who are involved in that. I feel so proud of their families because despite the traumas and the tragedies in our lives, we stood up and we come back, and we should be proud of that fact. Right. So let's go. Before I begin the show proper, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to my spirit guide, Grey Eagle, who as always is excuse me, standing to my right side. And I'd like to say good morning to Chris, our wonderful facilitator. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Rosemary. Good morning, all.
And of course, I've got an itchy eye. Oh no, I was going to say, does that mean I'm going to be vexed? No, that's an itchy nose. My nose is doing okay. So, so no vexation today. So good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Spirit World Sees All. Does it actually? Of course it does, doesn't it? Does it? Does the Spirit see? Does the Spirit World see all? And I'm going to remind you, some of you have heard me say this before. I can remember, and this, I'm going back so many years now, so many years. I can't believe I'm that old, but I'm going back so, so many years to the first time I can remember I was in my kitchen in England. I was climbing on top of the countertops because I was cleaning out my wall cupboards, taking stuff out, wiping down, doing all the stuff you do like that. This is how well I remember. So as I'm doing this fairly mindless job, I'm also thinking of Grey Eagle. I'm thinking of what's going on. It's so many years ago. It was in sort of in the very beginnings of my let's say professionals as a spiritual medium life. Anyway, spiritual medium and a healer. And I remember I was sort of kneeling up on the countertops and cleaning out these cupboards, and my thoughts were sort of going in every direction, thinking about, dead people who aren't really dead. People can really see us, they can talk to us. I see them. Finally accepting all of that stuff in my life. And at some point, as I'm cleaning out these cupboards, it occurs to me that they actually do see us in every situation. They're probably watching as I'm cleaning out the cupboards, although why they would, because it's such a boring job. But basically what I'm saying is, in every circumstance and in every situation, it suddenly occurred to me that the spirit world sees everything. And it was a very scary thought for me, because there are, not only do they see, They hear our thoughts. If they're interested, and they come to listen to us, of course, they hear our thoughts. They see what we do. They see how we behave when nobody's looking. They see how we behave when we think we're on our own. And I remember that thought inspired me so much to start to use bubble bath in my bath water. And I've told this story many, many times. And from then on, not that they couldn't see through the bubbles, it just made me feel better. So Christmas is coming, isn't it though? My daughter and I are having conversations about what, basically Christmas is around wreaths. Basically also Christmas is around food. And I'd love to hear from you all, because I mean, what is it? 2 weeks to Christmas, I think it is, something like that. And it's a lovely time. It's an exciting time. It's the first year in a long, long time that I did not make my Christmas cake. Oh, can you believe it? I did not make my Christmas cake. Well, it's hard to stir with this thing. And so, I let the time go by. And by the time I thought about it, it was far too late, because you have to make you. Now my nose is itching. Now I'm going to be vexed. So, but it takes at least 6 to 8 weeks to have your Christmas cake to the point where, you really, this is it. This is now perfect. We can eat it. So it takes a long time for all the alcohol to ferment into the fruit and to turn it into something delicious and wonderful. I'm going to really miss my Christmas cake, so much so that I might actually decide in a few weeks I'm going to make a Christmas cake and have it in the summertime. I love, love, love my Christmas cake. Anyway, so, and if you want the recipe, or if you want to know how to make the Christmas cake, you can just go into my YouTube channel, find Rosemary's Kitchen, and you can see how I make the Christmas cake. You can see what I put into it. But most of all, and most joyfully of all, there are some fabulous videos of my darling boy, Reese, helping me to decorate the Christmas cake. And that's the one thing that we always do over Christmas that we are not going to be able to do this year. So I'm making an English trifle instead, and well, I always make an English trifle anyway for Christmas. But anyway, so we don't have the Christmas cake. So I have to think of something else that I could make that's special for Christmas. I want to know what you're all going to be having for dinner. And those of you who don't celebrate Christmas, because I know there are many of you who don't celebrate Christmas, but we have Hanukkah coming up, so that counts. I want to know what you're all going to be producing for Christmas, and I'm going to tell you, here's my Christmas dinner. We've already sorted it, I've already arranged it, and I'm going to be making duck breasts, nice crispy skin, with my special orange sauce, which is a secret ingredient. Well, it was before I made the cookbook. Now it tells you in the book how to make it, what I put in it, but it's a delicious orange sauce that I make with the duck. And we're going to have some, maybe some cauliflower puree and some parsnips and roast potatoes. That's my Christmas dinner. And of course, trifle and maybe some meringues and who knows what else I'm in the mood for as we go towards Christmas and Christmas Day. Let's not forget though, I mean, when it's Christmas, we think about food, don't we? We think about the food. It's all about the food and the and the kids and the gift giving and so on and so forth. But I do like to spare a moment or two or 5 or 10 or however many moments I spare to remember what Christmas is all about, because I do think that people do, tend to forget that Christmas is the celebration of Christ. I know many of you don't believe in Christ. You have your own religions and you have your own whatever they are. People who are who you celebrate, and so on. But for me, Christmas is about Christ. And Christmas, when I think of Christ, I think of all the times that I have given healing over the years. And I've put my hands on someone's shoulder, for instance, and I felt Christ's hands laid over the top of mine as I give healing. So my Christmas is going to be thinking about that as well. Right, I've done enough talking now. So this is what I want from you. Are you ready? I want to know what you're going to have to eat. Um, I want to know what special tradition do you have, if any, for Christmas. In my family, I began a tradition when Samantha was a very little girl. I began the tradition of Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, and always leaving one gift under the tree for Boxing Day, which we still do all these years later. We still do, and we still do with Reese. We have our Boxing Day gift. It's sort of like, we tend to unwrap and open, and then it's done. But in my household, there's that one gift that sits under the tree. So you've got all of Christmas to wonder what is in that gift, and then you've got Boxing Day to open it. So it's still gift giving over the 2 days. And everyone who is at my house on Boxing Day gets a gift. Not that I spend a fortune. It might just be, I don't know, it could be a sticky lollipop sweet. It could be a small box of chocolates. It could be, anything. It could be a little bag of M&Ms or whatever it is. But whoever's there on Christmas morning having breakfast with us, they all get a gift on Boxing Day. So they're my traditions. What are yours, and how are you doing? And for some reason, I've got a little notification coming up on my computer. Let's have a look at it. This is so it's a low battery. Well, it can't be a low battery because I'm plugged in. Let me just go make sure I am plugged in. So Chris, why don't you? Can't be a low battery. Why don't you carry on with that? I'm just going to check this thing.
All right, Rosemary. Well, good morning, all. Please put your comments in the chat room, and YouTube is usually the best place to go, where you can subscribe and click the bell so that you know every time that Rosemary goes live. I'm seeing comments from people in the chat room about what it is that they make for Christmas for food. So Lucia says Christmas cakes are good, but here in northern Italy, we are Pandoro and Panettone addicted. For us, Christmas not only is a beloved Christian event, but also a marvelous tradition.
Right, I've had that stuff, and I love it. I love so much Italian food, but I have to tell you that the the Christmas cakes that you make in Italy, although they are delicious, are very dry compared to the Christmas cakes we make in England. And if you think that I'm wrong, and you do have a Christmas cake that is nice and moist and rich and so on, I'd love the recipe, because I could make that for the summertime. I could make it my summertime Christmas. I just have to say that the reason that the reason that my iPad said low battery is because I hadn't plugged it in at the wall. So keep in mind.
I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right.
It's now plugged in. If we disappear on you, it's totally my fault. So anyway, carry on, Chris. What else have we got here?
So Annie's on, and she's saying, I'm Portuguese. We usually have code, CODE, fish, as a main dish, followed by shrimp, octopus, and all the desserts.
I wonder what the traditional dessert is for Christmas. And you might have, would you mean cod, or would you mean, I think there's a fish named a coalfish. Anyway, whatever it is, I love fish, so I'm sure I would enjoy that. But I'm interested in the desserts as well. So love to know what the what is the one special dessert that you enjoy, not only making, but eating as well? And I'd like that recipe. Please send me your recipes, everybody. Okay, Chris.
Chase says cookie baking, music, and lights are what makes Christmas.
Oh, I agree with you. I totally, totally agree with you. Um, my grandson loves my chocolate shortbreads, and I went to a store. I won't mention. Well, actually, I will mention the name of it because they have some great stuff there. I went to Trader Joe's the other day. My friend Mary Lou took me to Trader Joe's, and they have these cookies, and they had them. They had samples, and they were called chocolate shortbread, and they're like in shapes of little stars with little bits of icing. Very, very cute, very nice, very crispy. Um, they were not shortbreads as I know them, but I did buy a box because they were really good, and I'm going to take them with me. But we'll also, Reese and I, we'll be making lots and lots of cookies and stuff like that. And you're right. I mean, Christmas music, cook, bake, the smell of baking. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's Christmas, and of course the lights as well. Yes.
Lucia says, happy to see you're doing well, Rosemary. Greetings from Italy near Vernicel.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing really, really well. Look at this hand. Look, I can move my fingers really, really good. Except that I don't want to sadden everyone with this news, but I was told on Monday that I need a big surgery on my hand. They're going to take all the bone out and do that and do whatever they do and go down my arm and do some stuff there. But that won't be happening until hopefully until February. So I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to just enjoy what's going on here and now. And if anyone wants to volunteer to come and nurse me back to health, although I wouldn't advise it because when I'm not very well, I like to be on my own. But anyway, I'm up for volunteers. Um, I won't be going very far. So, all right. So moving on from that, and thank you for that. Thank you. And I always think that no matter what is going on in your life, and really this thing is, yeah, it it's not being good. I would be lying to you if I tell you my life is stress free at the moment because it isn't. But there are so many people who are so much worse off, and in fact, when I first broke my wrist, and this is before they severely damaged my hand and my thumb in particular, um, my friend sent me um, like a report about a man who had lost both arms and both legs. It was the worst thing. It was an awful situation, and I think she was trying to say, look, there are so many people worse off than you, and I don't need the graphic details because I know that there are so many more people who are worse off. And, my heart goes out to all of you who struggle with the health issues and so on. But I do find that it's very, very helpful if you not exactly dress up, but if you put something on that you like to wear, it can be something comfortable. It can be something sort of sloppy and you might have had it for 20 years. But if it's comfortable, it makes you feel cozy and comfortable and warm, or if it makes you feel a little bit more glamorous or whatever it is, I do find that those small things do help to keep your spirits up and keep you going. Um, anyway, moving on, Chris.
Annie says, you always look so amazing, Rosemary.
Oh, thank you.
I asked you about my eye surgery last week. I saw the doctor this week, and she will let me know on the 18th the procedure. I'm terrified. Please, will this work out? I see double right now.
You're going to be fine. We're going to be there. If you could send when you've got the details of the date and the time, if you could send an email to my office, rosemary at rosemaryatea.com, and you can send, just put in the thing healing, and Chris can let me know when the date is. We'll be there one way or another. My team and I, we will be there and sending you healing. Yeah, it's really scary, and anything to do with eyes, it just makes me really sort of, my eyes start to water. As soon as we're talking eyes, my eyes start to water. My eyes are very, very sensitive, and I do feel for you, my darling. But I think that your loved ones in the spirit world are going to hold your hand, and I'm going to hold your hand too. So let us know the time, and all we need is the time and the date and the time, and we will be right there with you, or someone, many people perhaps in the spirit world. They'll be right there with you. So try not to worry too much. Just remember, you're not on your own in this. You don't have to go through this on your own, even though you might feel as if you're having to go through it on your own. Okay, Chris.
So Dean is asking, do people in the spirit world see dark and light or just light?
Oh, Dean, that's an interesting question. I think um, I think they see the darkness, because if you don't see the darkness, you don't know what you're going to have to deal with, do you? If you don't, it's I remember many years ago when I was with my group, and fortunately, because they were there to help me, but we had this entity, this really evil, dark force that sort of came into the room and literally tried to um, take take over. And you might think, well, how can that happen? Grey Eagle's there, and believe you me, when it was happening, I was saying to Grey Eagle, do something, help, do something. And he just simply calmly said, you can do this yourself. You can, this is this dark force, this dark energy, but you have to learn to deal with it. You have to learn to know what to do when it comes at you, and to learn to be positive, and I think the biggest thing is to learn not to be afraid to I read a plaque yesterday, something about faith. Faith is when you feel, something like when it's difficult to hold on to your faith, remember that God is holding on to you, something like that. So so when you're in this place of being afraid or being fearful, this is when your faith, this is when you reach inside of you and you hold on to your faith, and you absolutely know that no matter what happens, you're going to come out of it, because you know that God is your savior. You know that God is that, that force, that energy that is going to save you from the darkness. So I think that we often have to face this darkness, and it was this particular instance that I went through. It was, I have to tell you that it was so terrifying. And I have to also tell you that afterwards I'm thinking, why did Grey Eagle, what you stand there for? Why did you let me have to deal with this on my own? And it was less than a week later that I had a call from someone to say that they had this stuff going on in their house, and that they felt there was a lot of evil and so on and so forth. And because I'd already dealt with it and I'd had the experience of it, I knew how to go in there and deal with it again, and then another time again, and another time again, and so on. So I think that we have to know what the darkness is like in order to be able to learn to combat that darkness. So I think we probably do see the darkness, but we know what to do to bring in the light. We open the door. I think I've used this analogy for people so many times. Imagine that you have two rooms, two rooms side by side. One is pitch black and one is bright, brilliant light. And there's a door between. When you open the door between the two rooms, what happens? Does the darkness overwhelm and take over the light and destroy the light? Or does the light just get in there and there's no darkness anymore? Light always beats dark. So as long as when we know that, and as long as we have light within us and we develop that and encourage the light within us, we always can combat and get rid of the dark. But that explains sort of something to you. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, this is from Mark for To Great Eagle.
Oh,
On Christmas Day, we on Earth celebrate this beautiful day. Knowing our loved ones are with us naturally, do they also have a bigger celebration in paradise with God and Jesus?
again, depends on the faith of people, depends on how people want to celebrate. It's the same here. Some people go to church, some people don't. Some people spend the day with their kids, some people don't. It depends. Each person individually makes those choices for themselves. So, I think that it's everybody's choice. Chris.
Caroline says, Bless you, Rosemary and Gray Eagle. Thank you for taking my question last week about my childhood friend John. It was all about love. Thank you. I'm very grateful.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad that your question was answered. Excuse me, Chris.
All right. This is from Luis. I'm sorry, Luis. Lewis. Good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning, Louis.
After the death of my mother in September of this last year, I will not be celebrating Christmas this year.
Okay, well, again, there are two ways to look at this now, Louis, right? Uh, when your mother was here with you, my question would be, did you celebrate Christmas? My question would also be, you know, are you are you not celebrating Christmas because you never did, or are you not celebrating Christmas because your mother isn't here with you and it's too hard? If it's the latter, if you're not celebrating Christmas because your mother isn't here, I've got news for you. She is. She is with you. And so very often I have people who tell me their stories, and um, they feel sometimes guilty that they're going to be celebrating and having a good time when their loved one isn't there with them and can't have a good time anymore. And I can understand that thinking, but I have to tell you that it isn't true, because your loved ones in the spirit world will be celebrating and will be with you no matter what you do on Christmas, no matter how you celebrate. But if they have always celebrated Christmas in the past, I know that they would love for you to celebrate a little bit with them, to remember all the joyful times that you had when you were younger, and to remember all the joyful times that they had as a family. So it's tough. If you don't want to celebrate it or you feel you can't face it, that's fine. But um, if you celebrate Christmas normally, and if the first thing you would do on Christmas morning when you came downstairs, when your little boy was saying Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas to your mother, um, you might want to consider that she's still there and she's still listening and would love to hear that from you, and is probably saying the same thing to you. My heart hurts for you in this because I know how painful this whole situation must be for you. But um, if you could give your mother a gift for the Christmas you're not going to celebrate this year, I think the gift that you could give her would be the smile that she so needs to see you give, and the smile that you give to her. And I think, that would be a fabulous gift for you to give to her, Christmas or otherwise. Chris.
Caroline says, Rosemary, do people in spirit age? What age are they? When you communicate with them, can you see them in form like us? And do they wear clothes from the era that they passed? Thank you.
Yes, I often see, well, I mostly see people in, okay, when we pass into the spirit world, we obviously we leave our physical body behind, but we take with us what is known as the etheric or the spirit body, which is the same shape, size, and everything. So when I see people in the spirit world, I see them in a physical form, although I know that it's the etheric body, the spirit body that I'm seeing. It does look very, very much, excuse me, like the physical form that they had. And sometimes when they come to me, they'll exaggerate that form. They will laugh and tell me how handsome they are when they're not necessarily. And or they will, they will come to me and talk about the the fat tummy that they used to have, which is not there anymore. Um, we sort of we when we come through from the spirit world, when people come through from the spirit world to talk to me, they will often assume the same physical shape as they had when they were on this earth, um, because I am seeing the etheric or the spirit body, which is, as I said, the same shape and size and so on. Do they age? Some people, they don't age physically, no. Um, and in fact, this is going to sound weird, so many people that I speak to in the spirit world, even if they were in their 80s and 90s when they passed, I might see them, and they might look sort of age 50 or 60 to me, because when I see people in the spirit world, I'm not seeing the lines and the wrinkles. They might tell me about them. They might say to me, I was very old and very wrinkled and so on, but they don't have the stresses of the physical that we have. They don't have the traumas. They don't have the things that often make us look old. I mean, I swear that my hair has gone a little grayer since I was thinking about this morning. I swear my hair has gone a little grayer since I did my hand, although I don't dye my hair. I don't know if you can see it. Does it look grey, or does it look like I think it looks? I've got the grey. The grey is kind of in here somewhere a little bit, um, but you know, different people age differently. Different people have stress, so they look much older. I'll often see people who have been ravaged with a particular illness, and I don't see them ravaged at all. I see them well and healthy, and therefore looking much younger than they did when they passed. So it varies.
All right. Then Dean says for his Christmas tradition, making my homemade eggnog and homemade Tom and Jerry's for the Christmas season traditional.
What's a Tom and Jerry? I don't know what that is.
I'm sure he'll tell us.
So Dean, what is it? Homemade what?
Eggnog.
Eggnog. I want the recipe, especially if you ruined my Christmas cake recipe by putting far too much brandy in. I bet it was really good though. I like that idea. If your eggnog is anything like the doctoring you did with my Christmas cake, I want your eggnog recipe, please. And I don't know what a Tom and Jerry is. Do you know what a Tom and Jerry is, Chris? I have no
I
idea.
do not. I suspect it's a drink of some sort.
Well, we need the recipes. Come on. And we need to know what you're talking about. And I want the eggnog recipe. Okay, Chris.
All right. Chase says, your menu sounds fabulous. Ours will be simpler and is still developing, but an apple pie and mince tarts will definitely be part of it. Question: is the spirit world the same for those who end their lives intentionally?
Um, yes. Um, I've had a lot of people give I've heard a lot of opinions on people who take their own life. First of all, let me tell you, Jason, I want to know what you're having for dinner. Um, and let me tell you, I simplified my Christmas dinner, but we shall also be having mince pies and good stuff. But what was I saying here? So um, let me remind you first of all, you cannot go before it's your time. And I was talking to a young man who took his own life just last week, actually, and he was explaining to me that, because people often scratch their heads and wonder why they did it or what was going on, and they didn't know and they didn't realize. And he was actually explaining to me, this young man, and he said quite clearly, when God calls your name, that's it. Um, so whether you take your own life, whether you get run over by a bus or a train or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Um, when God calls your name, you go. And very often with people who take their own lives, um, very often they're not thinking clearly emotionally. Um, uh, Very often they have, they're suffering with deep depressions and so on and find it a struggle. But no matter what you try to do, if it's not your time, you're not going to go. So when someone takes their own life in a particularly difficult situation, I know that they have so much help, they have so much guidance from the spirit world, they have so many angels around them as they are being lifted and taken home, as we would say. Um, I think that not that I'm recommending that people should take their own lives. Of course, I'm not. But what I'm saying to you is that when God calls your name, it's time, and you don't have a chance, because it's all written after all. Uh, it's all written somewhere that time for us to be born and a time for us to to go home, to leave and to go home. And I think that we have to try, if we can, to remember that. And often with people who take their own lives, and I'm talking to them, they come through to talk to me and to talk to their families, give messages to their families. Their regrets are about the sadness that they leave behind and the confusion that they often leave behind. Um, and that's it, and that's tough. But are they embraced? Yes. There's none of this. I know that there are certain religions that believe if you take your own life, then you're banned from heaven or paradise or whatever it is you want to call it, and you have to wander like a lost soul. And that, I can assure you, is absolutely not true, because I've spoken to so many people who have passed in this way, and they are taken, they are embraced, they are loved, and they are brought into the light. That's for certain sure. Chris.
All right, both Eric and Vicky are sharing their food. So
Oh,
Eric says TJ's, I'm assuming that's a supermarket or store out there, has pretzel bread pudding. It's rich and sticky and yummy. Vicky,
it's so funny that you should say that, because I actually was in Trader Joe's. I think I mentioned this, and they had the same thing. And Mary Lou, who was with me, said, "Oh, look, they've got," because the only time she's ever eaten bread pudding is when I made it. "Oh, look, they've got pretzel bread pudding," and probably instead of bread, or as well as bread, the ingredients are pretzels, because when you soak them, which you have to do, they become nice and soft, but they're nice and salty and flavorful too. Um, Time for me to make a bread pudding. It's coming. Now. I make a fabulous bread and butter pudding, which is a whole different thing, and then I make a bread pudding, which I try to emulate what my mother did, because my mother was not a cook, but she did make a great, seriously great bread pudding, which she would put in a meatloaf tin, and it would be this thick, and you'd cut it into big chunks and eat it while it was still warm and delish. And anyway, all right, I'm getting hungry. So who else here?
Vicky says, I have to make my mince pies with brandy butter.
Well, I like them with brandy butter. I like them on their own. I like them with heavy cream. Actually, I like them with pretty much anything, any way you can get them. But in America, they don't have mince pies. They don't know really quite what a mince pie is, um, and so making your own is when I have to make them. I think Reese and I are going to be making them when I get there this time, and I always put a little bit of liquor in my mince pies too, because kids can eat as well. Because when you cook it, you cook out the alcohol, but you retain the flavor. So a little brandy in the mince meat is a good thing. I like to put that in as well.
And then Dean says, another specialty for me is spritz cookies made with a hand turned cookie press into little shapes. Another tradition is melting moments, a cookie so delicate they will crumble if you touch them hard.
Oh, all these recipes that they sound really good. Keep going, Chris. We're going to get bigger and bigger and fatter as the day goes on.
All right, this is from Matthew. Matthew says, my grandmother died last Thursday. I was with her till the end. She had vascular dementia, 83 years old. Is she well on the other side?
Matthew, I have Gregel has his hand on my shoulder. The message here is live your life to the full. Don't let anything stop you. Be well, be happy, as I am. That's a message from your grandmother there. Wow, nice. So there you are. Chris.
Melissa says, I would like to know if Gray Eagle is aware of all of us listening right now, and if he can potentially convey a message, an important message, to any of the listeners without us asking.
That's a great idea, and we'll be doing that the week before Christmas when we do our last Thursday show. Grey Eagle is going to give all of you a message then. Um, but when you asked, is Grey Eagle aware of all of us listening? He said to me, everyone. But the message is going to be a Christmas message or a something message. So the Thursday before Christmas, we will be giving you a message, or Gregor will be giving you all a message from himself and from the spirit world. Yes, there you go. Chris.
Bonnie says, good morning, Rosemary. My husband passed in January. I wanted to know if he's okay, and is he watching over me? Also, my sister died 2 days after him. It's been a tough year.
The answer is yes. I'm listening to Grey Eagle. Boy, your husband loves you. There's no doubt about that. It was not necessarily a perfectly smooth and easy relationship always. Tell me what relationship isn't. But boy, does he love you. And so I don't think he's going anywhere without you. I think he's going to be waiting for you. And he's got a long wait. So don't worry about that. But yes, he's with you. Keep going, Chris.
Tammy saying, good morning, Rosemary.
Good morning.
Is this suffocating anxiety mine, or am I picking up energy from others? All my love.
Right. You're such a sensitive person. This is, I was going to say this is your problem, but actually the most sensitive people are the nicest and the kindest and the most loving people. But you are a very, very sensitive person, a very, very intuitive and knowing person. And I think that your anxiety is partly due to the fact that you're picking up other people's anxiety. My suggestion is you need to make friends who you can just enjoy and have fun with. Um, Try not to get too involved in the negativity of those around you, um, because they'll just make you even more anxious. And if you are an anxious person, and you are, you're, surrounding yourself with people who are having problems and issues and so on, it's going to just make you more and more so. It's because you are a sensitive person. Now, let me just explain. There's no such thing as being oversensitive. There's no such thing as being too sensitive. All of you out there who've been told through your lives, the problem with you is, see, I've been there. I've had it said to me 1,000 times. The problem with you, the trouble with you is you're too sensitive. The problem with you is you're oversensitive. No, I would repeat back to those people who say that the problem with you is you have no sensitivity whatsoever. You need to get a little. Being sensitive is, and being ultra sensitive is a difficult thing because we feel everything. We feel, we feel people's hurts, and we feel people's anxieties, and we feel people's stress and so on. We feel these things so much more so, but try not to take it upon yourself. Try to put yourself in situations where just find a funny movie on the TV and just sit, chill out, make yourself a nice drink, chill out, and find something to laugh at. Or go out with friends who you can laugh with and you can enjoy life with, and just go out for lunch, or go for a drink, or go visit a neighbor who always seems to be happy, and just knock on the door and say, I'm in need of some fun. Do you want to come out with me, or do you want to come to my house for a coffee, or something like that? Put yourself in situations where you're not always having to deal with other people's negativity, because it'll drain you. It really will drain you. So I think, yes, you are a little anxious, you're a sensitive person, but I think a lot of the anxiety comes from the people you're surrounding yourself with. So you might want to think about that and change that a little bit. Chris?
Betta says, Dear Rosemary, for 3 years I have been working so hard to realize my dream, working as an editor. Will I finally receive any job offers, and when? Thank you so much for the answer.
Yes, 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 better. Lovely. I'm loving the fact that you're doing this. Don't doubt yourself. Just keep going with this. Keep going on, and don't give up. And at some point, yes, you will find that job that you thought you'd never find, and you're going to enjoy it thoroughly. Chris?
Melissa says, I've been trying the candle meditation, but it's not working for me. I found myself wondering whether I should focus on the flame of the candle or some other feature. I think I need to achieve not thinking about anything, but I'm not sure. Can you guide me on how to do the exercise correctly? I know it's for 15 minutes.
Well, 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Don't knock yourself out about this. But this is what you have to do. Maybe after Christmas, maybe in the new year, I'll do it. I'll do it with you all, so you can all see what's going on here. So it's about the candle flame. The candle flame is what you can focus on. That's what you need to focus on. And when you stare at a light bulb for too long and you close your eyes, you've got the light bulb in there. And whatever that's in there, nothing else can get in. And the same with the candle flame. You focus on the candle flame. You focus on it for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, however long. Close your eyes, and when you've got the candle flame there, nothing else can get in the way, and the idea is to empty your mind and to just relax so that you can raise your level of consciousness. As soon as you don't see the candle flame anymore, open your eyes and focus on the candle flame again. It'll flicker, it'll do all that stuff. So you focus on it and then close your eyes again, and there it is. If you cannot, you're not supposed to retain it immediately. It takes a while to do it. So as soon as the candle flame disappears, open your eyes and focus again, and focus again. And each time you do it, you'll be able to hold the candle flame for long enough that you can give yourself a break, give your mind a break, allow yourself to be free and to be able to raise your level of consciousness. It takes a while to do it. So keep trying that. If it's not working and you're really frustrated, I mean, I don't know how long you've been doing it for, but if you're frustrated and you can't do it, give it up. Don't do it anymore. Give yourself a break, a month or something, and then come back and try it again. But you have to you can't expect to just stare at the candle flame, stare at the candle flame, stare at the candle flame, and something's happening. You have to stare at the candle flame for a few minutes, get it in you for a minute or even seconds, get it in there, close your eyes, there it is. The minute it disappears, open your eyes and do it again. And I think that's probably where you're going wrong. You're expecting too much too soon. Chris.
Michael says, Rosemary, I hope you are doing well. My
Hi,
question my question for you is, are you still pursuing television gigs?
I'm not quite sure pursuing is the right word, but absolutely, if somebody were to come along and offer me a gig, a television gig, whatever that might be, absolutely, I'm up for anything. So, Michael, if you know something, help me out here.
Melissa is asking, individuals in the spirit world, do they feed on something? Do they eat? Or are they just unlimited energy?
They are creating energy, building energy. As far as food as we know it, no, what do they say? Love is the food of life. Light is the food of life. Knowledge is the food of life. Um, so they don't necessarily sit down and have dinner and breakfast and so on. Although I have it on a time or two, especially with my daddy. If I've been eating something that he is particularly fond of or likes, he will sort of, little bit like living vicariously through someone else, he'll sort of be able to sort of enjoy the taste through me, because we're so connected. And that might sound weird to some of you, but do they need to have their 3 meals a day? No.
Caroline says, Rosemary, my son Jacob did not get the job he recently applied for. Is there a better opportunity waiting for him? He works full time and takes courses. He has a good heart and soul. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm a firm believer. For instance, let me see. If the house has your name on it, you'll get it no matter what. Doesn't matter how many people offer for it. If the house has your name on it, you'll get it. Weirdly, I've seen that happen several times. If a job has your name on it, it doesn't matter how many candidates there are. If it has your name on it, you'll get it. What I'm saying to you is trust the process. He will find something, and he will find something that he loves. He just needs to be patient. He's not getting jobs because he's not good enough. He's not getting jobs because the job that has his name on it is waiting for him, but he might have to be patient for it to come to him. So it's about faith, really. Have time to have faith. Chris.
All right. Mark says, on Christmas, I tend to be naughty, for I'm a huge fan of good liver pate and have it with water crackers.
I'm so tempted to go to my refrigerator right now to show you. My liver pate, um, it's not easy to do many things with my hand right now, but I'm trying a little bit at a time to do more and more, and you know, to sort of. So the other day, I love liver pate. I don't always care for the bought stuff, although some is so much better than others. And in fact, my daughter always gets me liver pate when I go to visit her, and it's usually she usually gets it good one. I like it really, really nice and smooth. A lot of people like rough pate, but anyway. So I decided the other day, I was in the supermarket and there were chicken livers just looking at me. And I thought, I couldn't get any liver pate. So I knew I had some shallots at home, shallots, as they say in America. I knew I had some shallots at home. I knew I had some garlic. And I knew I had a little bit of cream. I'm thinking all these ingredients, right? All this good stuff. I knew I had the spices, so I made some pate, which I haven't done since way before I broke my wrist. So um, it is so good. I can't believe it's taken me this long to make it. It is one of the things I enjoy the most. Extremely fattening, of course, so I have to limit. But I have one half of it in the freezer because it freezes really well, and the other I'm getting. I should be finished by the weekend. I'll be then tempted to get the one that's in the freezer out, but I won't because I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. But anyway, um, that's not naughty. That's so indulgent, and why wouldn't we want to be? And especially on Christmas Day, I love liver pate. A lot of people are thinking, "Yeah, liver," but I love it. Chris,
He followed up with the
yes,
question, recently, many have died in the current war in the Middle East. When these unknowing souls are murdered, do their angels swoop to get them before that fateful moment so they do not suffer?
yes, a lot of it. I found this during 9/11 when of course, I spoke to so many people who had died in 9/11. I was very involved after the event of 9/11. I was very involved with people, and I found that so many times um, I can remember I can remember seeing a room where there were all these people absolutely terrified, and they knew they were going to die and there was no escape. And as I watched, I saw the room fill with angels, and then light and this amazing calm descended on all of those people who were so terrified, so afraid, and all of a sudden so calmed and amazed at seeing their angels and literally being lifted and lifted out before the whole thing actually collapsed. So I totally know that our angels are with us in these moments, definitely, and that they help us and guide us through this awful time. Yes.
Rosemary, there are more questions left. What would you like
Um,
to do?
give me 1 second. I just have to open the door. Give me 1 second. Let's have another 5 minutes. Just give me a second.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, carry on.
All right, this is from Louise.
Right.
Good evening, Rosemary. I'm caught in a trauma trap of PTSD and derealization and so lost with who I am. What should I be doing to be normal again?
Well, there's no such thing as normal. Just, you know, coming in. There's no such thing as normal or normality. And why would you want to be normal? But I do understand your question, and I do understand what you mean. I think it's really, really important that you if you could find people outside of yourself, maybe a therapist would help, maybe going to a group who suffers with these things would help you. I think it's very important that you can find help of some kind or another, so that you can really have people that you can talk to who can help you to get through this. We of course will send you healing. Absolutely, we will send you healing. But and keep us posted on how you're doing. But I think that my suggestion would be, I don't know where you live. I've no idea where you live, which country, where in the world you live, but there have to be, and you might want to go online and find, there might be groups online who you can connect with, who have the same issues and same kinds of thing. I think it's good to talk with people who know what you're talking about and who understand what you're talking about. And I think that that will help you tremendously. But please do let us know how you're getting on. Chris.
And then Michael's asking, Rosemary, I realize you are not a fortune teller, but do you
Uh-oh.
see me being able to graduate next year?
Is there a doubt then? Why would you doubt it? The only reason you won't graduate, Michael, is if you don't step up and do the best you can do. So, of course you're going to do that. We hope you're going to do that. So, and I may not be a fortune teller, but I am able to see the future for lots of people. And in fact, I'm able to see the future for most people. And I enjoy it thoroughly. But let me see, cap and gown or something like that. I don't quite know what I'm seeing here, but Michael, you can do anything you want to do. Chris.
Tammy says, thank you sincerely, Rosemary, and you were spot on. Called that my entire life. My beloved dad used to tell me it's a gift. Thank you sincerely for your time and energy. You had said Tammy was sensitive.
Yeah, I remember. You're not too sensitive, you're not oversensitive, you are ultra sensitive, as I am, and that's the very best thing to be, because it makes you who you are, which is lovely. Chris, keep going.
Paula's
Another cup.
asking, can you tell me if my daughter has her grandpa by her side?
Oh, why? I have to ask you this. Why are you asking a question you already know the answer to? And I think you're just looking for confirmation, so I'm giving you confirmation. You know this, you know the answer. The answer, of course, is yes.
All right, last one. Melissa, I would like to ask what path I should follow. I studied and worked in a career that I didn't like and then switched to psychology, which I enjoyed a lot. Now, in another country, I can't work in that field. I have to start over for the third time, but I'm not sure what to do.
I actually don't think you will have to start over. I think that you are a person who is, let's say, a natural born healer. You are a person who should be working with people, for people, with, within that area of helping people. And I think you should be looking to go in that area. In other words, follow your heart, Melissa, because your heart is good, and as you follow your heart, take the opportunities that come to you. Whether you work in a hospital, whether you work with private clients and so on. I think you will be amazing as a consultant. Follow your heart. That's it, Chris. We're done for today. So we will hopefully see you all next week, next Thursday morning, the same time, same place, everybody. And I'm going to be going to New York after that, and then we shall have one more week, one more Thursday before Christmas. So that Thursday, Gregor will be giving us all a message, me included. I hope. So until then, until I see you again, thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate that you're all here. I love it when lots of people come in here and feel that they're able to ask questions and so on. So first of all, I'd like to thank Gregor. Of course, I'd like to say thank you to our facilitator, Chris. And I would like to thank all of you once again for being here, for joining in. I love talking to you all, and I love the fact that you love talking to me too. So until I see you again, please, 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 everybody, have a very blessed rest of the day. Have a very blessed weekend. And I'll see you all the next time.